the exhilaration and terror of making your first film when all these eyes are on you and you're trying to do something very unconventional that I couldn't really describe. It doesn't make sense on paper. And I have all these people who just put their faith in me, but I can't quite describe what we're doing. And yeah, so it's a bit of a leap of faith on everyone's part. In the movie where Guillaume, when you do the final thing and you turn around, he's just staring, kind of going like, they're all looking like, what just happened? Like, you're surprising them. It was like a little magic moment that I like to think we got the reverse shot of. You know, everyone knows that one, but this is what it looked like on the other side of the camera. They're going, was that?
One of the things fascinating too is that even though she's got this physical confidence, that's slightly mask-like because that's what Preminger asked of her to do, to not give anything away in those movies, which is weirdly one of these moments you would treat that so sad.
Yeah.
You just don't know what she's going through.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But because there's no camera blocking for Godard, you can sort of see you tense up every once.
Yes. This is gonna sound so actory, but I really watched a lot of Snow Leopards. I know that's so weird.
No, it doesn't sound actory at all.
I don't think I know a single actor who feels like understood.
Yeah.
I think it's
artists
a
in
unanimous artist in general. You're constantly.
Wasn't that the Truffaut quote or something like? He's like, yeah, all directors feel like they're misunderstood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like every great singer, they're like, that's the song you want me to play?
Yeah.
Every great music, they're like, I have to play that song, that's my hit? Are you sure?
First of all, the movie reminds me so much of your work in that it's about people finding what they're doing in real time.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost felt like I was watching Slacker in a weird way.
Yeah.
And is that one of the things you connected to in the material?
Yeah, it sounds like arrogant or something, but no, I totally related it to making my first, well, I'd made a bunch of film shorts and one feature, but the first time I was working with other people on my first film, Slacker, we shot that in 89, came out in 90, 91. Yeah, it was totally the exhilaration and terror of making your first film when all these eyes are on you and you're trying to do something very unconventional that I couldn't really describe. It doesn't make sense on paper. And I have all these people who just put their faith in me, but I can't quite describe what we're doing. And yeah, so it's a bit of a leap of faith on everyone's part, but the position you're in. So it was rediscovering that. You know, I was back to being 28, 29 years old, making that first film. It just, in this case, you know, it happens to be a Bout du Souffle, you know, but it's you know, I was that. And also so personally I was going back in time to being like my late 20s filmmaker. And then cinematically, I felt I was going back in time just to make a film that looked that way. You know, they shot the films very specifically. The cliches of the new wave, handheld camera, but handheld camera has become so like overused. Back then, if you really look at it, it's not shaky cam, you know? Godard was good. My DP and I, we would look at, well, this scene's on sticks, right? It's not moving. It's like, no, he's really good. There's a slight little, they just follow the action. It was pre-Bertolucci, you know, where the camera was starting to, you know, roam around a lot more. So they shot him in a fairly straightforward fashion, but the editing in Breathless was what was kind of unique. And I didn't want to do that. You know, it wasn't, this wasn't, I really think that worked once in film history, narratively. And you can't imitate Godard. So that wasn't the thing. I was saying this is a new wave film from another new wave filmmaker at that time. But it was of its time, but not by Godard.
Well, yeah,
by Jacques Rogier or somebody.
Yeah, but the weird thing about it actually is collaborative in that way. And that it's also, the reason I said Slacker too is that it's from a collective aesthetic, and Slacker is that both behind the camera, but the people in front of the camera create an aspect too. Yeah,
you get these great personalities. I mean, Breathless Works, let's face it, it's the magic between Belmondo and Seberg really makes that movie, it's like lightning struck right there. Godard created this stage for them to be kind of magical. So that just kind of makes the movie. And yeah, that's what you're hoping to do as a director. You're hoping to get these unique personalities to give of themselves and to communicate something. Maybe they don't even know what they're communicating, but you feel it's something really special.
Let me ask you this though, because we were just talking about, I've seen you do Thornton Wilder, and then see you're playing an actor. You're an actor playing an actor who's not sure when she's acting.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the fun of it too, because part of it is she wants to enjoy herself, and she just worked for the most restrictive director in the history of show business.
Correct.
So to go from that to this, it's like she doesn't know what to do with the freedom. She wants it until she gets it.
Exactly. She had just, the two movies she'd made before Breathless, the only two movies she'd ever made, were St. Joan and Bonjour Tristesse. St. Joan was, she was cast out of the blue. It was an 18,000 person search. Auto Preminger saw her in Marshalltown, Iowa and said, "That's my star." And it was an incredibly traumatic shoot. He was rigid and strict and really tough on her. And after
and everybody.
And after the critical, after she was just destroyed by the press, he hired her again. In between that, I think he made her go to, I call it like the boot camp, acting boot camp. She went to this voice teacher, which is where that sort of affected voice that she has comes from. And movement coach and acting coach, and then she did Bonjour Tristesse, and it was a little bit, it was more well received in France, so she started to feel like maybe that would be more of my home than America, where they're not accepting me. And I think she was excited about the possibility of this movie, but carrying over like
well, she has PTSD of some kind.
Exactly, and
She's
she was carrying over
survivor of a film abuse.
And she was just scared. Also, the language barrier. Although she was learning French, or she spoke French a little bit. She only had been learning it for a year. Coming into a space with this avant-garde director who's telling her, "I don't want you to know your lines. I don't want you to prepare. I'm gonna just throw words at you," and just so scary. And I think you really nailed it when you said she wants to enjoy it. And later on, she goes on to say her respect and gratitude to Godard, of course, while also saying, there's a quote that she has that always sticks in my mind, which is, he recognized something in me that I couldn't fully understand at the time, but he didn't want to. He wanted to show, but he only wanted to show what I represented, not who I actually was. And that was very profound, I felt. So I think she still carried pain from that shooting experience, while also maintaining great gratitude for what it did and how it transformed her career. It's
One of the things you do in the movie, though, which I really like, you see this in her, if you watch the movie again, especially after Bonjour Tristesse, she's got a swagger when she walks. She's really confident in a way that really matches up with Belmondo. And you get that kind of...
It's just going to sound so actory, but I really watched a lot of Snow Leopards. I know that's so weird.
No, it doesn't sound actory at all.
Can I say
something? How did you feel?
So the thing that I struggled with when Rick was saying, Rick 10 years, I know it's what it sounds like, and but I don't even think I ever said anything to you, but when Rick cast me, when he told me about this 10 years ago, and when he told
me this movie, and you're Gene Seberg, it's wild.
And
really 10 years ago?
10 years ago.
When we did Everybody Wants Something together.
Yeah, so when you
by the end of February, was that when I said? It was somewhere
in there.
After that, I was already kind of working on this.
But so in passing, because, Rick, he means what he says, but you got to listen. I'm like...
We're going to make Boyhood. This is about real time.
I
don't want to make big statements and disappoint people. Like, I was like, hey, there's this thing, but I want you to... whatever.
But one of the things I was nervous about playing her is I feel she has this... She's very mysterious.
Yeah.
And even the way... yes, she has a swagger to the way that she walks, and she's sexy and all those things, but it was more the mysteriousness and the slight sadness behind the eyes that was I wanted to capture. And I don't know, for whatever reason, that I was really called to the snow leopard, which is a very mysterious, it always like perches above, and I was always trying to find places above to keep my eyes and to watch out, and it helped with the walk.
So are you holding your head like this? Is that what you do? Because you know something, I see what she's talking Godard wearing the tie and the glasses. She's really sitting up.
So it helped in a way because there actually wasn't a ton of footage of her. There's one great, like 12-minute interview where I could get a sense of her, but there's not a ton of her and her normal life. But I don't know.
Zoe had a mystical bond with her that was really special. It played out too. You want to tell?
You tell.
Well, right, the last scene in Abu Dussouf, she's buried about 200 meters from there in the Montparnasse cemetery. So it was raining that day. We weren't able to shoot, and Zoe, we had seen the grave once. You left a note before we started, but here we are in production, it's raining.
I brought her flowers.
We didn't have we were kind of losing our day. We had a lot to do. And it was lunchtime when let's go visit Joe. And so we got umbrellas and we went out. As we approached the grave, it quit raining. And when Zoe got to the grave, the sun came out. And it stayed the rest of it. I don't believe any of it. I don't believe like any kind of thing, but that's what happened.
Yeah, I love Rick. I love Rick. The second it happened, he said that. He was like, I don't believe in this stuff, but it did happen.
But this did just happen. I don't think she's here with us. I mean, she's here with us, but she's not here. You know, whatever. But it was amazing. It was that kind of blessed production. We were so close to the real thing. The camera you see in the movie that they're using shot the movie. We got it from Raul Cotard.
Is that Eclair?
The Camaflex.
Oh my
God. The movie that he's holding,
it's
my
the actual
Cotard actor, is the camera that shot. I keep forgetting that. It's the first time I've said that. But the whole movie was so intertwined. We got so much support.
I thought that's just a prop that you had built up to look like that. I gasped when I saw the camera.
That is the camera.
What about your wrap gift? That's pretty great.
Oh yeah, I left here with a 35 print that my producers gave me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I got my own print.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Because I wanted to ask you too, because one of the things fascinating too is that she doesn't quite know what to do, even though she's got this physical confidence, that's slightly mask-like, because that's what Preminger asked of her to do, to not give anything away in those movies, which is weirdly, when she treats that so sad.
Yeah.
You just don't know what she's going through.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But because there's no camera blocking for Godard, you can sort of see you tense up every once
yes.
in a while.
Yeah, and I think, totally. I feel like, I think who wouldn't feel insecure in that setting? It's scary, and you don't know what's going on, and where do I go, and what do I say, and what do I do, and am I doing this right, or do you like me? Do you like me? Do you hate me? You know, it's
God. And yet we have all those photos. You know, there's so much documentation of it, and there she is with a big smile on her face. She's trying to have fun. She's sitting in a group, and you can see her, but knowing what she's going through, it's poetic. You know.
It's funny because I think it's really hard to make movies about the making of movies. The movie I thought of as I was watching this was The Stuntman, which is a movie about the pleasure of filmmaking. And finally, that's what this is about, the pleasure Godard gets, that he doesn't know how to communicate to anybody.
Yeah.
But I feel there's this kind of, with all these things going on with the world's smartest people. I mean, it really is sort of like the Algonquin Round Table. And this girl who just got out of high school got invited to be one of the smartest people in the world, who spoke a language she didn't quite know yet.
Yeah.
And there's so much of, you play that discomfort so nuanced in a way.
Thank you.
Because like you're trying to listen ahead instead of what you're trying to anticipate what they're saying.
Yeah.
Well,
that was easy because I was so scared of French. that was authentic. I was a spirit of Jean with me. We were both like, do I understand you? Do I not? What did you say?
But Zoe got Jean so well. It was kind of that, she kind of mispronounced this. You know, she got even the things she couldn't
the grammar's
translate
not quite
very
right
well.
Either.
No.
Yeah. She got the mistakes right. Like we built in the mistakes.
But we were
kind of like in the
careful
film
about that.
itself. You kind of the mistakes. Yeah. I was so impressed with the deep dive that was happening.
Rick did something so great, which is he created this. It's really wonderful. I saved it. It's a rehearsal manifesto, and it starts off with the dialogue that's actually in the script of Godard talking with his first AD and the script supervisor saying, they're talking about, are we gonna have a rehearsal? Are you gonna have a script? And he goes, no. Godard says, no, I don't want to have, then they're going to learn, they're going to know their lines, and they're going to be prepared. And then it cuts to Rick's line. And Rick goes, we're going to do the complete opposite.
We're not working like that.
He goes, you can either be spontaneous and all of a sudden it's magic, in parentheses, like, good luck with that. Or you can work really hard and you can rehearse it and you can study it and you can, explore every single avenue so that when we're on set, it's just easy and it comes out. That's how we're going to
feel like we're, That's the
freedom.
Yeah.
It's arriving at freedom in a different way, but he was so genius in getting everybody on the same page immediately that this is not, we're not we're not doing that method. We're doing a different method, but we're still going to arrive at freedom and joy and art, but it's a different way in.
Behind most people's notion of improvisation, there's usually a lot of work. You know, the notion is like, oh, he just got up and played that solo. Well, he probably played it in his room, you know, to some degree, or they've been trying something.
You're talking about somebody like Charlie Parker, he was constantly rehearsing. Or
Yeah.
talking about Sonny Rollins playing on the Brooklyn Bridge by himself for a year.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what goes into that moment, you know. So you got to do that in film. You know, we're creating this. You know, you're manifesting it. So I just wanted everybody to be so that what we're doing could look that potentially that loose and spontaneous, but it's not. But they're acting it. You know, so that was the fun part.
I thought about the stuntman too, just because Eli Cross is a similar figure. Nobody knows what he's thinking. He's got everybody off guard.
Yeah.
This is kind of constant tension of does he know what he's doing or not? In the end, it sort of turns out that he knew what he wanted.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with this Go-Dime. Did you think about the stuntman as you were?
I've seen that a couple times. It's been a while, but that's one of the good movies about making a movie. But yeah, the director is someone who has everybody off balance and what are they thinking? But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really thinking about it that much. No.
Because it feels evocative of the period, but it doesn't feel like it's trying to recreate the period.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't feel like it's
So,
so
yeah.
slavish in trying to do it, because there's something slightly modern about Eugene Seberg, the way she felt modern and slightly out of place in the movie. I mean, that he cast her for iconography,
Yeah.
and it turned out that she actually had this presence. I think that part of me thinks he was surprised by her presence on camera, just because she'd never shown anything like that before in the movie. She was so blocked and used. You could tell from the way she was lighted in Bonjour Tristesse that there were marks around her feet that she couldn't step out of. And the freedom that he was giving her taking it in so well, I mean, he got some pleasure from that too, I must say.
Yeah, and it's true. We have a line in the movie in the editing room. 1/4 of the footage is close-ups of Seberg, of Gene. It's true, and we capture it in the movie where Guillaume, when you do the final thing and you turn around, he's just staring, kind of going like, they're all looking like, what just happened? Like, you're surprising them. It was like a little magic moment that I like to think we got the reverse shot of. You know, everyone knows that one, but
I love
this is
all-
what it looked like on the other side of the camera. They're going, was that, yeah. My favorite part in movie making is that you capture these incredible moments and then there's a cut and then life kind of comes back in. The actor who just did something they don't even know is miraculous. You know, they would wander over to the craft service table, go talk to a friend, you know, like
or
real
worse,
life.
Or worse, they
But
think
it's like,
it's miraculous.
wait, that just happened. Yeah, no, that's never miraculous. No, it's when they kind of don't know what they just did.
You're going to say your favorite. So you're going to say your favorite part, or what are you just going to say?
Oh no! I was just gonna say I loved all of the way you constructed all of the scenes the way you shot all the scenes that were actually in the film, like how he did the reverse angle of New York Herald Tribune. And we spent a long time rehearsing the exact steps, the exact thing.
You could put them up next to each other.
We watched their mouth to imagine what they could be saying, because obviously it was sync sound. So we worked on that, we put it on a TV, and we tried to create dialogue of them being like, what is going on? That would match their mouths. There was a weird thing in her hand we couldn't figure out.
To do a deep dive, not only on a whole movie, but on a particular scene, like, she stops to get the paper. What is that she's putting in her mouth? It's not a pen.
There was a huge debate.
We were like, what the hell? It's a little thing.
We decided it was a sugar cube.
Hubert, our AD, who is the most obsessive of all of us.
Literal
He was
historian.
I think it is a sugar cube. You know, I think she had maybe a coffee. She had it in her. And
I was like, what?
But it kind of makes sense.
But yeah, we went for
nothing
it.
else did. We committed. We committed. And if you look at the movie, I've seen it since. I'm like, I think that's a sugar cube.
But you had so many moments like that where you had
always
great ideas about, and used your imagination. It was an interpretation, not a direct historical accurate.
It's an interpretation.
Yeah, it was
Bit
so
of a
fun.
guess, yeah.
I just
An
know
educated guess.
I just know Godard just love you. I feel like he would be obsessed with you.
Yeah,
He wouldn't let you know.
no, it'd be a little smile.
I guess.
But, yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. But I mean, I do like that there's this magic happening as you're trying to recreate magic,
Yeah.
that you can sort of see, because again, for me, a lot of it comes to that performance, and that, she doesn't know what to make of this. But, she's an American, so she's going to push ahead anyway. She's going to keep doing it. And that he's responding to her, because the movie is about him. I think the movie's about the camera falling in love with Gene Seberg as much as anything else. I mean, if you watch it, the third time you watch, when you sort of know what the movie's doing, then you just kind of watch the actors. And every time there's like a pan to her, something's like, he's found her. And there's something physical in her that responds to it. And I wonder if you felt that when you watched it to sort of prepare for this.
In Breathless?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many times I watched Breathless, but it's interesting. I don't know if I ever...
That's not the kind of thing we talked about.
No. No, but that's a cool interpretation. No, it wasn't necessarily what I...
Because I think the great movies often are about movie stars being found in real time. And the irony is Otto Preminger was trying to manufacture a movie star. Godard found one in the most natural way possible. He saw what Preminger saw, but didn't know how to use. And he responded to it.
Yeah.
And he said, this will work for my movie.
Beautiful, yeah.
Say what you will about that. I mean, I think Gene Seberg's great in those. I got no problem with it. But you see something.
I think that's what a director does, is so many actors who haven't been well used, and the director kind of goes,
yeah, no, I have the exact, your vibe, it's often when I go to next levels usually with that. When you meet them in person, and go, oh, you're really funny, or there's some quality you haven't necessarily seen of an actor in a movie. But for him, it's from other movies. He's seen these movies and he imagines her, but he sees something there. So yeah.
I'm curious if you feel this way, or if you've seen this, but I think it's true, which is actors at the beginning of their career get the jobs that whatever their instinct is when they're nervous, those are the kind of characters they get earlier in their career. So if they go into an audition room to meet with a director and their gut reaction when they're nervous is to be quiet and reserved, those are the parts that they're going to get.
Wow.
And so, but that's not actually necessarily who they are at their core, and it takes time to sometimes never to get them out of that pigeonhole. But usually it's the early part of an actor's career is shaped by what their essence is when they're anxious, because it's impossible to get out of that at the very beginning.
Do you think every actor feels that they're not fully represented? Like people think I'm this, but I'm this? I think even someone who's made 100 movies kind of thinks the public kind of sees me here, but I'm actually...
I think so. I don't think I know a single actor who feels understood.
Yeah.
I think it's a unanimous... Artists in general, you're constantly...
Wasn't that the Truffaut quote or something? He's like, yeah, all directors feel like they're misunderstood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or every great singer, they're like, that's the song you want me to play?
Yeah.
Every great music, they're like, I have to play that song? That's my hit? Are you sure? That's not the one.
I just wrote that in 10 minutes. I recorded it in 30 minutes. Why is that?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, so.
Wow, it's so funny, because you're saying two things come to mind. One is that I always thought that this movie was, especially the score made me think this too, it was a French film approximation of jazz. Because jazz was so integral to what French culture was at that period.
Oh yeah, that's what they were breathing. That's the notion, and that kind of free form, that kind of the notion of improv, the looseness, the spontaneity, that was just in the air. I wrote that in that note. I was like, that's what everybody was thinking at the time.
But Belmondo is free, and that's why he got that part, and that's why I think that was his essence. Or even if he was anxious, he would be, I don't know.
Yeah, he had a way of just. Yeah.
He moved like a boxer. Yes, he does move like a...
Yeah, he's got And Aubrey, the actor we found, was just magical. He is that smiley kind of, hey, everything's cool.
Unbelievable.
It was so, you guys together.
I don't know, you just...
I love it.
Oh my gosh, and Guillaume too. Both of them are just...
Whoa, he's like a Cheshire cat. He's exactly the guy you want to be that. So when he has that moment of surprise and going, but she is great, then it really registers because he's been so inscrutable.
And he pulled some stuff like that. He was like art imitating life, life imitating art in rehearsal. I was like, is he in character the whole time? He would do this during rehearsal, and I'd be like, what did you... And it was perfect. Yeah. And it was never clarified, and I loved everything he did.
Yeah, no, he's amazing. And, here he's playing a director, so I'm empowering him in the within the shoot. Hey, you gotta,
Oh, so he would come up and give.
But then we'd say cut, and he'd kind of keep going, telling like, hey, what if we? I'm like, Guillaume, you're acting a director. I'm actually the director.
Oh yeah, he would give me notes and everything,
He was
and I'd
very
be
funny.
like,
He was like, oh, I love the headspace he was in. It was perfect, but I had to kind of remind him every now.
I just am so obsessed. But at the beginning, I was a little. I remember I looked at you and I was like, "Am I? Did I?
What's this gonna?
Should I?
Yeah, but it was perfect. It was the relationship was there. The little.
And then I immediately. It
He's
was
such a sweetheart.
It's the greatest.
Now he's doomed to play directors for the rest of his life. But I want to ask you to follow up on what you were saying. Did you feel that way at the beginning of your career, that you were being sort of misread because of the way you were auditioning? Was that your experience?
I think when I was young, when I was real, when I was 14,
young.
15, I was super fast talking, and I was like, oh my God, this and that, hyper and trying to like prove something always. And so, yeah, I think I got a lot of those, there wasn't a lot of stillness. So those were not, the still roles, the quiet roles were not ones that were easy for me to get. But that's, you grow and you change and you build confidence but yeah, I do think that it's true that you.
Zoe's a real chameleon, You usually don't say that about female actors. Is that true? Do they say it about guys? He's a chameleon.
Oh.
Do they say it about women? But you're a chameleon. You look different. Films, you're very different role to role. So
I think
I admire that.
The thing that connects all those roles for me with you, and what this movie is kind of about, is listening. Because I notice the way you listen, especially having seen you on stage now, the way you're listening in a shot. And that, I'm watching the way people listen in this film, because there's so much talk. But usually when there's a lot of talking movies, it's just playing for the dialogue. But people are listening and reacting to it. And I kind of love that about this.
Well, they're all on, they're all looking at him. Like they're listening to this. There's a volatile thing in the room called Godard, that they're all kind of having to play off of. Like when you see Bob Dylan, once you realize how spontaneous he is and people in the band, you realize they're playing, but they're looking at Bob because he could just change key and change songs like that. And you better know the song. It might be a song you've never played before.
Or make up a new verse for the song.
Yeah,
on stage.
and you got to go with it. And so when you have this volatile element in the room, and I don't think it's intentional, but some people just kind of have that with them, a volatile actor in the scene or a director who's kind of unpredictable. You kind of like everyone. They kind of control the flow of what's going on. So yeah, everybody's. I like the scene when they read the letter that Bobo's kind of putting them in their place, and you realize everybody. We made that very clear. It's got quiet, and everybody's looking at it like, how's he going to respond?
Yeah.
So he gives a little battle cry and back into. But
well, we can do this all day. But you guys apparently have a place to the piece. Let's thank these guys.
We could.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Always great talking to you, man. We'll continue.